I would hope that we would be concerned with the productivity, however that's achieved. I mean, that is the issue. And to base the questions that we have or the concerns that we have on data and information that has been proven rather than on speculation or pre-existing notions about what works or doesn't work. The best thing is not to be anecdotal, but the best thing is to look at what the increase in services, the decrease in wait times, all of the measures that the commissioner has laid out. I think that there's real clarity there. And I'm going to go back. I will ask something about the disabilities and how to dealing with the backlog there. But I have, I think, more fundamental question, Commissioner. As I said in my opening statement, and I wanted to see if you would agree with this, do you agree with me that a cut in the administration of the Social Security Administration is a de facto cut to Social Security? And tell us how.
Well, it absolutely is, Madam Chair. The people, all their lives when they work, part of their FICA that they pay in all year so that they don't die under a bridge in poverty in their old age, goes to Social Security Trust Fund. And that's the fund that allows us to pay benefits, the one that we racked up a big surplus in, a reserve surplus, so we could cover the years of the baby boomers. At the same time, though, those dollars were also supposed to pay for the overhead of this agency. And until pretty recently, that overhead, that 1.2% that I talked about, that was always mandatory spending because most of it came out of the same FICA tax rather than general federal revenues. But for some strange reason, maybe it was in the age of caps and those things, the size of our agency, we're the second biggest annual spend compared, only after the Department of Defense.
Let's do an audit there.
So the size of the agency may give you all room to put more focus on labor H. It says a lot that we don't even warrant an S in the name of your committee when we're the second largest spend in the federal government. So a cut to customer service is a cut to the American people's Social Security. They have a right to those benefits. They've earned them. And at the same time, they've already paid for the customer service necessary to effectuate them. I've probably visited 100 field offices in America by now in many of your districts. And every time, Mr. Chairman, I don't go in the back door. I go in the front door and sit with our people, and I ask them, how long you've been waiting? What is it that you need? I've talked to widows who, for the first time, articulate that they are there for survivor benefits. I've talked to grandmothers bringing in their grandson for a redetermination. It's not right. It's not right that they should be denied the customer service that they already paid for. And it's a solvable problem. Just like the long-term fiscal health of Social Security is a solvable problem, man, this one's even easier. If you just allowed us to go back to that effective and efficient 1.2%, Mr. Chairman, your Social Security Administration, once again, would be the most effective and efficient in the United States of America.
So in essence, if there's this cut of the magnitude that we're talking about here, we're looking at a substantial delay in people's
Delays and closures.
Delays and closures. And I won't belabor it now, but if anybody is interested, I do have a chart of every single district, not only the members of this committee, but of the entire Congress, of the number of beneficiaries who receive Social Security, the number of staff that reside in the particular state, the initial disability claims that are pending, and it goes on and on and on. And there is a notion here, especially when it comes to programs that are dealing with labor HHS, is that less is more. Well, in this case, less is less, and it continues to be less productivity, less efficiency, et cetera, that we're going to be able to do, and we're going to put people's benefits in jeopardy. I'm going to quickly ask you about the improving the wait times on disability claims and your budget request addressing that backlog, please.
Yes, thank you, Ranking Member. The little-known fact, But the initial disability determinations that's made when people are injured at work, they have to apply, and the initial determination of whether that person, meets the criteria of the statute, both a medical listing and an inability to do work that they used to do that's widely available in their part of the economy, that initial decision is made by state employees in 50 state offices all across the United States, and most governors don't even know they have them, and the District of Columbia and Puerto Rico. But we fund that. So the staffing at those has been reduced from about a little under 15,000 down to 12,000. And therefore, it's kind of like a police department or a school system. A school system with more students and fewer teachers means it takes longer to get to the kids that are in trouble. Police department with fewer police and the same level of calls for service takes them longer to get to the calls for service. So these DDS offices, in one state, in Montana, now 80% of them are trainees. Each one of them is a bit of a Gordian knot to untangle. But we've deployed some better tools, better technology, the use of Imagine, better management intelligence to identify those claimants that are most likely to receive an allowable, and we fast-track them, or the compassionate cases where somebody might have a terminal condition, so we fast-track those. So we've gone now 22 months in a row, and I finally found from my donkey cart some of these things. This is on our website, so that's kind of the peak of the disability backlog. We've now closed more cases on the back end every week for the last 22 weeks. We need to keep it going, but a $500 million cut would mean that goes back up, more people die waiting in line. And same with this is the bread and butter one. This is retiree, and folks, they've gotten that back up from a low last year of 77% to a high of 87%. So those are some of the things that we look at in productivity. And all of this they're all cases. Like they each have a name, a social security number. So it's actually relatively, these cats collect a lot of data. And using that data, we've empowered one another to act in a more collaborative and accountable way and deliver better even with the huge hit we've taken in staffing.
Mr. Molinar.